Doodle bud, it's pen time. Today, it's a Montblanc 149. It's a big one, nice pen. For a lot of folks, this is like a grail pen. This was for me as well. And the regular retail is crazy, but scored a deal where it's maybe 70, 75% off the retail price. They're playing a quarter to a little bit more of the regular retail. I was happy with that. So anyhow, that's just luck of the draw. And if you look around a lot and maybe go in some auctions, you can get a scored deal too. So this is a new old stock. That's why I got a deal on it. They look almost identical to the brand new one. I mean, there's slight little nuances, but the camera can maybe pick that up. It says Germany on there, but maybe you could see that. There's a W in front of it. I think we got a little gleam of it really quick. So made in West Germany. That means it's a little bit of an older pen. So this is late 80s, but had never been inked, never been used, so it's just like a brand new one. Great pen. It's got the giant nib. This one's a fine. If I was getting this pen brand new and was going to pony up the money to do that, I'd probably get like a oblique double broad or something really cool and fancy on this one, but I couldn't pass it up for the price. So it came with a fine, which is pretty boring for this pen. You think it'd just be a bit of a special pen, get a special nib, but whatever, nothing wrong with a fine. But it was not an amazing writing experience. I had other fine nibs that write smoother and more enjoyable than this one was out of the box. But there were some kind of flow issues too. It's pretty dry when I first got it, but I knew I was going to do something to it anyways. So just did as best as you can. There's not much material, but just stubbed it. Well, I wouldn't stub it. I would say more like cursive italic. Ever so much, just to give a little bit of flair. I had to open up the tines, just spread them a little bit, just to get the right amount of flow, because it was fairly dry actually when I got it. There we go. But now it writes really, really nice. This is actually like a daily carry. I got this little 2-pen case right here, and just fits in there. It's always this one and one other, room for two. I really enjoy this now. So the nib writes well. The flow is really good now, and it's a nice pen. I got a big hand, so I like bigger, kind of fatter pens, and it's got this fancy thing on top. It's kind of why you buy it, the logo, to have one. But so I'll just give you a quick writing sample on it, just so you can see. I mean, if you buy a regular Montblanc a fine, it's not going to look like this. We gave it a bit of an italic treatment to it. And again, this nib isn't flexy. It's got a little bounce to it. So just a little bit of pressure. That's the regular line variation. If you give this one just a light pressure, it makes it a little bit thicker. So you might notice that on downstrokes and stuff like that. The ink I'm using here, if you want to know. Diamine Midnight. It's a nice little ink. I usually like a blue black with this pen for whatever reason. It's not terribly wet of an ink. The adjustment though, it's just the right amount of wetness for me. It's just perfect, just right in that sweet spot. Even on crap paper, it does okay. And this is, you can see we get a little bit of feathering there. I get these from the dollar store. I do have Clairefontaine and Rhodia and all that stuff too, but for $2.50 a Dollarama, it's reasonably priced for half decently fountain pen friendly paper. So this is stuff I use for just a lot of notes that I know I'm just scratch pad doing stuff that isn't super critical. I'll use these so I can just tear through them. If I'm going to do notes at a meeting or a conference or whatever it is, stuff I want to keep and preserve that I want to reference back later on, that's where I'll get my nice notebooks as well. But for cheap and dirty, for $2.50. Does pretty well with fountain pens. Even bleed through. You know, it's pretty thin paper. You get it through there, but I mean, there's other stuff. You just put one dab and it just soaks and feathers like crazy. So anyhow, this is my 149. And I like it. Yeah, I like that little italicness to the nib. It just gives just a little bit different. Just, you know what I mean? Anyhow, keep your eyes peeled if this pen has been on your radar and you want to pick one up and the regular retail price, you just can't swallow that pill. Well, I didn't either. Just be patient. Keep your eyes peeled. There's always ones up on whether it's eBay or other auction sites or whatever. A friend of a friend, a buddy or whatever, you might be able to find one somehow, but you don't have to pay the full retail if you don't want to. If you're okay with some uniqueness. Oh, speaking of which, that drove me nuts. I don't know when I did that. All the fins were there out of the box, but one is missing. So maybe I capped a little aggressively and missed it and popped a fin, but I noticed it one day and said, oh, it's a pain in the butt. Also, you can see that little wetness there. That's because it's a split feed. Let's see if we can. Just opens up a little bit right there. So that's a split feed. So yeah, I like it. I really, I love writing with it. Nothing worse than having a pen that you thought you would like and then you don't. This one, I absolutely love it. So this is, for me, pretty much an everyday carry pen. Holds lots of ink. You got the ink window, all that stuff. You can learn much more about the pen other places, but I like it. Glad I got it. It's fun. Pick one up sometime.